All right, folks, we're back. Thanks for watching that break. As you guys saw on the screen, we're going to be doing MajOr versus Neeb coming up next. This will be a TVP. They've just finished up their vetoes and picks. It took them a few moments, but looks like we're about ready to go. Zamgrub's hosting the lobby. Thanks again, as always, for doing this.
I'm good at it.
You found your calling in life? It wasn't getting married or having a family or even being successful at a job?
Calling in life is going to get married.
I don't know. That's some people's priority, and I think it's rather a shame that you would shame somebody for that. With such
I don't
a
mind if
snarky
it's their
remark.
priority, but I do judge them a little bit if it's their... What word would we use? Calling. That's the word. Calling.
But would you judge a woman for what she would wear in public?
No.
Then why would you judge them for what they would choose to do with their life?
I'm not judging them for what they choose to do with their life.
Sounds like you are, man. This is not really cool.
I'm judging them for what they're calling their calling. Because what about marriage is their calling? Is it loving someone? Or is it getting up on that altar and saying, I do, and getting a sheet of paper?
Maybe it's the whole package, the whole kit and caboodle.
Mmm.
Just because you're going to be an
Well,
old...
I hope they don't get a divorce.
Just because you're going to be an old cat lady spinster, man, doesn't mean you got to put down everyone else. Dang. This is going to segue into something kind of nice, but you've ruined this, so thank you. We're going to just hop into Frost. It's game number 1. We've got no intro for it. Neeb versus MajOr in what is going to be the preliminary match between these two players. Quick reminder that the winner of this will go on to fight against Cham, and the loser will go on to fight against Volts. And we do the losers match first on BaseTradeTV always. Best of 5s the whole way through, and you guys are watching the TING Open. I'm Riffian, of course, joined tonight, as always, by the lovely Zombie Grub. And in the bottom right side of Frost, we've got the Red Terran playing for Invasion Esports. It's MajOr.
In the bottom left, as the blue Protoss, he's Ting Neeb. Ding.
Of course, Neeb also, it's not just that he's a good player for all these other reasons we'll be listing consistently and constantly. Ting actually threw a quote-unquote King of the Hill King of the Hill event with Neeb. And this was to announce that they had picked him up as a player. And I thought, okay, that's pretty cool, because they had consulted me and said, like, what can we do to really make this an announcement? And they picked some North American players to play against him, some pretty good ones. And Neeb tore through them all. The initial... this is what made me really respect Neeb, though. The initial decision was to have Neeb play last and be the final boss to ensure that he had his best chance of actually winning. And Neeb said, nah, man, put me up first. I want to win all the money. And that's exactly what he did. He tore through 4 best of 5s. And just won everything. Not a problem. Easy peasy. And that's his announcement to joining TING.
It was really easy. It was surprising. That was, I think, the first time that I was truly convinced he was not just the best North American player, but maybe the best EU and NA North America, or EU and NA Protoss player. I'm not sure about Korea, and unfortunately, we never will be sure.
Well, BlizzCon's on the grab.
Okay, fine. At BlizzCon, okay, because apparently that's the only one that we're going to get to see Koreans participate in. I mean, they have this global tournament, but no one wants to use it.
Okay, so real talk though about Neeb for a moment. What I really enjoy about watching Neeb, and we should be talking MajOr up, guys, but let's be honest, we love Neeb, so we're gonna stroke Neeb a little bit here, right? What I like about watching Neeb most is, aside from the odd adept all-in, which is no different really than the same mentality of a lot of other all-ins, he doesn't make Protoss look stupid. You don't sit there going like, nice race, bro, as you lament about the armor on a unit or something. Neeb has really good decision-making, really great reactions, and there's no part of him where I watch any of his games and I'm like, nice race.
No, I would agree with that. Again, I think he was a good Terran player, and I think Protoss Change and Legacy of the Void really hit his strengths as both races, and he just adapted very well to it all. And that's why I think it doesn't look any bullshit. Like, there's no more A move in general for Protoss. Like, they actually have some work to do, but he's also not the type of player who's just all-inning and cheesing all the time. But if he does, he makes it look very... Like, not just like, oh, you won because you cheesed, but you won because you cheesed and you did it super well.
You ready for this pun? It's a really bad joke.
Okay.
Protoss went between Heart of the Storm and Legacy of the Void from A moving to A moning. Oh, storyline jokes campaign.
Did they go to aim-onning though? I mean, are they anti?
Well, no, see, that's the thing. They didn't have a choice. He, like, took control of them all, man.
Oh, that's true.
That's right. All right, so this attack from Major is pretty easily deflected. We've been talking a lot about Neeb, and I guess Major definitely needs a bit of credit because you mentioned Copa America before. For like 2 years, that's been his stomping grounds, his farming grounds. He's always been on top of everybody over there. Back in the old WCS system as well, he would get consistently far, and Major in HOTS was seriously like the Terran foreigner to look out for. Even a lot of Koreans didn't want to play against him. In the Legacy of the Void launch, we had like a live specifically ask us, don't seed me against Major. Like, this is a Korean, a good Korean, who says, I don't want to play this foreigner. So, again, Major's got his merits, guys. He's just not, it feels like over the months, though, he's, well, still good. And there's no denying that. He's just not as good as he once was, at least in terms of competition and results.
So that will put Neeb, I guess, as the favorite, as we expected. I certainly just bet on him, so I'm sure that the bets will be skewed, and especially because it is this matchup. If it was a PvP, I actually wouldn't know how good Neeb was. Of course, we've been seeing him in the Civil War once or twice, but not like Drogo, who just like stomped last Civil War day.
Oh, that reminds me, as you bring up the Partouf bets, we'll read the actual counts in a second, but I forgot. I was going over statistics recently, and I was like, wow, we have a lot of traffic coming from some undefined site on our Ting days, but only our Ting days. I'm like, what is this site? So I have to do some digging, and it's a betting site.
Oh, of course. Well, inevitable, I suppose. Just no one tell us to tell the players to stop losing because you're losing your bets.
Yeah, but hey, if you guys win big and like want to tip the casters, I'm just saying.
We're that, yeah.
Toss us a chip. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah. Yeah, but I was talking about how it's specifically this matchup that also just is going to be really tough for Major. He gets a very nice scout, but it's not anything too surprising.
It's interesting because the scout didn't actually see what was inside the warp prism. Now, he saw the robo, and 2 and 2 equals 4, and you're going to guess Disruptor drops, but there's a small chance Major doesn't, and if that's the case, these Marines are free food, the SCVs get hit. There's no turret on this side, so we're going to initially, I guess, not get in for free? I thought he was going to get in for free easily.
Yeah. Oh, would have mine almost got hit. Oh, it did hit. Oh, that sucks. He's gonna have to leave for quite a while then. Alright, so I said there wasn't anything surprising, but Major scouting the robotics bay was probably a surprise for him.
Ooh.
And now, of course, he knows what's up.
Very nice splits out of Major. No stim, very quick reaction, nicely done.
I think getting the Observer is also really obnoxious. Neeb, I mean, he could go in with a low health Warp Prism if he knew exactly what he was going into, but now it's a little more of a question. Where did that Wood of Mine move to? Does he get another Wood of Mine? Am I running into a missile turret that only takes, like, 4 shots for me to die now? In fact, hey, it was a Viking this time. So saving that's definitely important. Neeb, he's got Blink finishing up, and he's moving across the map. Stim's only just going to be done as the fight occurs.
I'm really upset. I got straight up booed in chat for that joke, man. That stream delay is real harsh, man. Like, for real, you guys hurt my feelings 3 minutes ago.
You'll get over it.
I will.
Tanks are in position, a missile turret even.
I love the consistency of these turrets, not just because of its potential detection against DTs, but also keeps the warp prism from moving around too freely, diving in on the front lines, picking units, dropping on top of the tanks, or warping in so freely. Now, of course, out here can do it, but again, I love the consistency of these turrets out of Major.
Warp Prism could try and be sniped by the Viking, but Blink is done, so it'd be risky, probably just lose the Viking, as low as the Warp Prism is, and as important as the Warp Prism is. Now, Neeb is not looking for a win unless Major offered him a winnable situation, and I don't really think he is. As Neeb's getting double upgrades, he's adding on Resident Glaives for more depths later on. Actually finds the army level position, goes for the tanks with his Disruptors.
Yeah, Liberator comes out, but the tanks were a pretty pivotal part of the defense to keep those Stalkers from getting out of hand. Now with nothing to really limit them from blinking around, it's only a few men of bio that's pushing this back. That bunker still, that's like the 4th time that thing's gone down. Disruptor's coming off cooldown shortly. I believe Major knows this as well. Liberators are doing what they can, but really, this was not a good situation for him.
Yeah, I thought he wasn't going to win the game, but he is actually winning the game right now, so that's my bad.
Oh, that Disruptor hit was so sexy if you're Protoss and so brutal if you're Terran.
I think most of the Protosses would have gone for the Disruptor hits on the bio, and they probably would have been, maybe not pushed back, but, they wouldn't have been able to win right then and there. By going for those tanks,
Ooh.
Neeb won.
Yeah, game number 1. We'll go to game 2 here. What's the map so I can load it?
Dusk Towers.
All right, and I was looking at the bets. You want to take a shot in the dark what you think the bets are?
30,000 for Neeb, 10,000 for MajOr.
The scaling on that isn't too off. It's sorry, just 18,000 ish on Neeb and a little under 3,000 for MajOr. It's a sad thing to think that, but I mean, again, with Neeb's track record, I would bet the same way. Again, 4-0ing beyond, killing players like Polt regularly. As good as MajOr is, we could never hype him up to be better than he is, and sadly, he's not better than those two guys.
Oh boy. This is getting to a point I'm just like, I don't even know what you're supposed to do against Neeb.
What on earth happened on Twitter? We're gonna skip the intro. I need to talk about this. So I screenshotted our brackets, right? And I do what I always do, where I save the image name as brackets, so it constantly overwrites the other brackets. Look at the BaseTradeTV Twitter. Coming up next, MajOr versus Neeb best of 5 TVP. Tell me what you see wrong with that image.
Hold on.
It's okay, I'll wait.
Coming up next. What?
There's nothing on it. I have an image I can show you guys right now.
Oh.
I'm just going to drag it onto the screen. This is my brackets.png. How does this not show up on Twitter?
I honestly thought that was on purpose. Like, you're like, hey guys, it's a group stage. You don't know who's in it though.
No, it's all blank. But how did it? I don't understand how it became blank, because there is no version of this image in this folder that's blank. It's only the This is like computer magic to me. But okay, we'll fix that afterwards. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 2 in this best of 5. Spawning the bottom left side of Dusk Towers. It's going to be Invasion's Blue Terran MajOr.
In the top right, as the Red Protoss, he's Ting Neeb.
We should have totally done like a Dora the Explorer thing. Waited a minute so people could try and figure it out, and then be like, "You're right! It's missing names!"
I wouldn't have gotten it. I would have been like I don't know, like, she's like, do you know what a banana is called in Spanish? Fuck, I don't know. What is it called? Hey, hold on. Wait, let me Google it. No, wait.
You
Dictionary.
got it.
I got this.
You're right. It's
yeah,
El Bananas. Clearly, I don't know what it is in Spanish either, just FYI. But anyways, Neeb comes in for a scout, and I'd say one of the most important things he scouts from this is the fact that there was no command center quickly. Now, that's not a big deal. MajOr starting with a barracks is hardly irrational, and the command center coming down now is totally normal. But Neeb really wanted to see if MajOr was playing greedy, because I think one big thing for Protoss is on Dusk Towers especially, if you see a CC first, you take that third Nexus as quick as you can, because you know you're going to get away with it.
Yeah. I mean, last game, MajOr did go for a bit of greed by getting that third CC. And it definitely showed in the amount of units he had to defend. He had very important units that should have been able to, in proper position, defend. And I'm talking about those tanks. But, well, obviously not. And again, it wasn't like Neeb was super all in with it. He was getting his own third base up. He just did see that opportunity. Just like MajOr sees an opportunity here.
I still don't think this is worth it. I'm yet to be convinced of this. We've cast this a couple times, and we've seen the cool aspects of it in ways that it could potentially work. But I just feel like unless there's full saturation ready to go, you're not denying much with those 3 mineral patches.
Yeah, I really liked this on the gold bases on Pre-Antares. I thought it was absolutely worth it. I could, see how it could deny a lot of mining. This situation, it eventually will deny mining. There's nothing that would really take it down super quickly, that at least 1 or 2 probes wouldn't be, messed up by it. But it could have kept the Adept at home if he wanted to tear down even faster without the Photon Overcharge, or even with it. It keeps the Mothership Core, I guess, honest and at home as well, so there's no Photon shenanigans on the other side of the map.
I guess that is a small detail that's worth almost that. If that's the purpose of every one of those engineering bays, strictly to have the Mothership Core not be Photon Overcharging the outside of your natural, then I give it 2 thumbs up and I applaud it. I would use that every single game. But we've seen them ignore it so many times and still just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first time I think I've seen a pylon in range. Usually the Nexus, or the pylon's like in the back of the mirror line, something like that, just barely doesn't reach it. And that took it down pretty quickly. But, even if an Adept is on it from the get-go, like, it still only denies, I think, like 30 seconds of like 2 to 4 probes mining or something like that. And that's of like 2 or 3 games that we've seen it, so I don't know. The Koreans use it and they seem to know their shit, so always follow the Koreans.
Unless they're Zerg.
Yeah, then they don't
follow
know shit.
the
They don't know
foreigners.
shit at all. Why is that such a versatile word, by the way? Shit. Like, you're shit or you're the shit. You don't know shit versus you know shit.
English swear words in general are very versatile. There's like that whole video about the F word and how you can use it about 1,000,000 different ways.
Yeah, that's so weird. Anywho, I don't follow those things. Oracle on the way is going to be able to provide a little bit of scouting and a little bit of map control, which is good because Neeb's trying to get that third base down nice and early.
Ah, what am I? Not gonna be able to get super big hits here or here, but we'll still prevent some mining in the natural or third base. Excuse
It's odd that MajOr didn't even try and go for the third base, or sorry, the natural. Maybe he really hoped the transfer would come down. Oh no, a Phoenix can handle a Widowmine. Man, I very, very rarely played Protoss, and I very rarely went for an Oracle, but I was watching a Protoss stream, and I did not realize how large of a relation was.
Oh!
Oh!
That almost went bad. He put this back in
It
the middle
really
line. So you were saying? I didn't mean to interrupt.
The Revelation spell, its actual cast, preview is huge.
Yeah.
I realize that it covers a lot of stuff when I see it actually cast, but I've never seen the preview animation, and it's huge.
It's slightly smaller than Scanner Suite, but it is pretty big.
I know. Okay, I guess when you put it that way, I can't judge them for not getting both DTs, because like how many times has that happened with a Scanner Suite?
Yeah. Pretty much. All right, pros being pulled away from this. MajOr, I just want to point out, has gone so heavy on these Widow Mines, and he's still producing more where this came from. Just really looking to run Neeb ragged. But while this goes on, he still has a push coming too.
Oh, maybe I wasn't casting with you. I think I'm gonna be casting with Fear Dragon. We cast some guy. I
Some
don't remember who
guy?
it
No
was.
way. Go
I'm
on.
sorry, I can't remember if it was a pro gamer or like just an up and comer or something like that. But he just went for like 16 Widow Mines in 5 different medevac drops, and we just kept on commenting on how like if he only had 16 more Widow Mines back at home, he would be winning. Oh, I really wish that was with you. Anyways, it's not quite at those extremes yet, but imagine if all of these have not worked and all the medevacs died too. That's actually a huge commitment. MajOr's been saving them.
So what I'm hearing is you've been casting cheating on me.
Well, you know that. Like, it's scheduled.
Yeah, and also I guess
Oh, dear
like,
Jesus.
it's not a big deal.
Actually, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
They really haven't gotten those magical hits. The splits from Neeb haven't been too bad. He's been losing 11 workers through how many Widow Mines is this now? 6 preceding this plus this medevac. I mean, not the most terribly expensive attacks out of MajOr, but not the most terribly effective either, sadly.
Yeah, 6 Widow Mines, 2 medevacs for 11 probes, and I think the Phoenix died because of it too. Yeah, hard to. Honestly, hard to say.
That one was almost good too. MajOr's getting a lot of just barely hits here. Like, just barely doesn't get the money hit. Regardless, though, what I'm more importantly intrigued about is what Neeb is doing behind this, and that's not panicking. Like, MajOr showed Marines on the front lines. Neeb knows there's an attack pending outside of his base. That's why the stasis trap was built in the first place. But he's played it calm. He still built the depths in Immortals. They didn't tunnel vision on these Widow Mine drops, and tries to deny the Marine that was going to pop that stasis trap. Well done out of MajOr to actually pop that.
Yeah, that was really cool from both of them. But right, absolutely right. We saw that yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, with Neeb, and that he just didn't panic when things were actually going sideways with you thermal.
Fuck that Marauder in particular.
In particular, he, even if he took a lot of damage from drops, he was able to still hold off against Euthermal's follow-up push, which is happening here, and he's not taking as much damage too. Now, this is keeping Neeb back at home, so MajOr doesn't ever have to commit to an attack, and he can try and do his own macro game here.
MajOr's attack timing is now, though, because there are Colossus on the way, and we saw just how good those still are at dealing with Marines.
The Liberators aren't helping, so...
No, the whole fight goes down inside the Liberation zones, but this is still... Neeb's not wasting any warp ins on this warp prism right now. He's still warping in everything at home. His army type is really good with the amount of adepts he has. That Colossus is going to add a nice amount of splash damage, and I actually am really worried for MajOr. This, for a moment, there looked like he was getting some nice momentum with those drops and consistently keeping Neeb stuck in his base, but it's... Protoss stuck on 3 bases. That's not such a bad thing. That's like a work vacation.
Well, MajOr is trying to get his 4th down on location, and that's where the warp prism is going to come in real handy. a single Zealot will be able to stall it out, and 4 might even be able to kill it if Major's out of position. But maybe Neeb will be merciful and just leave it be. Well, I guess he has run away from the Liberators. These Liberators don't think we're going for the Warp Prism. 4 Liberators for harassment? Maybe they were going for the Warp Prism. You do need about 4 to actually kill it now.
I know, that changed.
That change was pretty brutal.
I was hoping to see something along the lines of Cyclone use this game, but maybe we'll see if it's Zerg, potentially. But at the same time, maybe we won't see Cyclones at all because they were changed just today.
Well, I mean, I don't want to, like, be like, look, Santa Claus doesn't exist, but look, Cyclones will never be here.
You bitch! I believe with all of my heart. All right. Widowmine's actually going to get a burrow on the front lines. These hits would be nice if they go off a little bit late, but does get a bit of splash in. Liberators have been cleaned up, however, and without their support continuing this fight, is a not fruitful effort. Major has to pull back and get those reinforcements to those front lines.
It never looks like an absolutely terrible fight for Major, but then Neeb still wins. It doesn't just, like, win and trade out, but actually winning enough that pushing forward and ending the game might be a possibility. Certainly denying this 4th base, it doesn't lift. Army tries to come in, that was probably a bad idea. Phoenixes can now take all those medevacs, there's only 2 Marines.
I think he really wanted to just stand on top of the Colossus exposed in the back. I mean, look at that focus fire that went into one of them. It wasn't a terrible choice, Major just didn't have enough units.
Yeah, and he doesn't have enough anything. Well, his mining's still okay, I suppose. That 4th did not end up going down, but he doesn't have enough army supply anyway.
The planetary given him was secure its location, but unfortunately the 3rd and the natural don't have one. GG gets called, and Neeb will take a 2-0 lead in this best of 5. But 2-0 is nothing close to over, guys. Well, actually it might be. We'll see how this last one goes, potentially. Small break before we get there. I'll see you guys in a few moments. Alright, folks, welcome back. Game number 3 currently underway. Spawning the bottom right-hand side of the map. He is currently up 2-0 currently. It's going to be the blue Protoss, TING's own Neeb.
In the top left, as the red Terran, he is Major.
So, some joke comments coming down in chat, like, Neeb playing against any foreigners, like, ZZZZ. I don't know, man. Like, Neeb really is top-tier foreigner right now. There's no question in my mind about it. Every player who's, like, worth watching will agree with that. And I think I really am excited to see not even the follow-up group to this, but like the round of 8 and seeing who Neeb ends up fighting against over there. Like, does he get somebody like Bjorn right away or not?
Yeah, this is. I kind of mentioned it last game, but it just really started to make me wonder, like, what can Terran do against Neeb? You'd say, like, we'll look up Bjorn, but most recently Bjorn lost to Neeb 4-0. So even he didn't have a super good answer. And if he meets Bjorn again, I don't know if he's going to have a better answer. Because it's nothing trickery. It's not all-ins or cheeses. Just good. There
really is a degree, like a very minor degree where you're like, nice units, adepts are cool, whatever. I do strongly feel, though, in my guts, in my heart, in everything about it, if Neeb were not Protoss, if he was any other race, let's say alternate world here, he's stuck with Terran. Alternate reality, swap to Zerg instead of Protoss. I still think he somehow finds a way to make it work. Because, again, going off of Neeb, what always looks best is, like, you almost wonder, does this guy cheat? Because he always knows what's going on. He always makes the right call. I can't recall a single time we've been casting and we're like, oh my god, he misread the situation. Oh my god, Neeb doesn't realize blank is coming. No, he's always in the know. He always is aware of what's going on. And that, to me, is what makes him such a strong contender to be one of the best foreigners. Not because he's got adepts. And not because he's got Protoss.
Yeah, I guess you can say that he has a champion mentality, and that there's so many other things besides just how he is to us in the game that seems to really play well, including just, if his defense is so good as Protoss, his defense as Terran and Zerg are probably the same too. Just, that calm mind. He doesn't seem to get tilted super easily either. Actually seems like kind of an unemotional guy, to be honest. Yeah,
we met in real life, and I mean, granted, he was playing during Austin, so I wasn't expecting him to be a super party guy, but he was very stoic, I guess we could say. Yeah. But one of the things as well, just kind of commenting on that too, was like for Neeb, that calm mind I think is an asset that's not easily found. Like, he's somebody who will play on Europe from North America. He doesn't care about latency, doesn't let it get to him. Many other players will throw a tantrum before you even play the first game if they have to be in that situation. And that's not calling anyone whiners, that's just, again, another comment on Neeb's character.
Yeah. In a funny way, I guess he is like those, like Koreans, except that we know that he can speak English, and he could complain if he wanted to. He just never brings it up.
Well, hot damn.
Tempo.
Yeah.
There you go.
31 months. Can I get some Ace 10 Pogs in chat, guys?
That's a long time.
Man, you remember playing Pogs? Like in
I do, yes. I still have my Pogs.
So I don't I watched a video on it recently on YouTube. I didn't actually remember the rules to Pogs. And then I was watching this like origin of where they came from, how it came from like Hawaii type thing or something. I don't know, but it's crazy because I just remember collecting them. It was like Pokemon cards. I never actually played, I just collected them.
Yeah, I remember that. So there's been minor harassment from both parties, a Helen in the natural and a Depth in the natural.
Yeah, 3 for 2.
Not like too much anywhere. Yeah, right, 3 for 2 is not too bad for anyone. Now, Neeb, he didn't scout the 3rd CC, I'm pretty sure. Like, Zep never actually got in, despite not being a wall-off. Yeah, it never got in. So that would have been really cool to see. Maybe he would have changed his build-up if he had seen it soon enough. But even though he doesn't know it's there, he still has 4 gateways and a warp prism. So that's not an all-in amount, but that is something that you can do a little more damage than the regular like 3 gateways into, you know, 3rd base and whatnot. These aren't upgraded adepts, but remember that MajOr opened up this game a little bit more tech heavy. So his actual unit count isn't that high either. It just has that one good unit here in that tank. That doesn't even have
it might not be around for too much longer. There's not a wall to keep this out. MajOr gets caught with his pants totally down. SCV is getting pulled into this, but that's not a good start. Adept's warping in on that front line, and you know, if MajOr had gone with, I don't know, the faster starport, maybe he's got the ability to pick up and micro around. Unfortunately, already down to 20 workers, excuse me. No army supply remaining. It is without a doubt in my mind, Neeb has won this game. And
yep.
I mean, I just want to put like a lot of these adepts are really low. It's not like this was a total ridiculous snowball, but it has crested that point.
Even doing the pickup micro and adepts to make sure he wins. Now that was all of MajOr's SCVs, so he knows that he's won. Yeah, GG.
I just want to point out too, like Protoss, I think this is where some of that hate comes from for everybody, the casual fans, where you're like, Terran can snowball in the same way, it just doesn't look as easy. It doesn't look as silly. But congratulations to Neeb, who will lock down the series 3-0. He will move on to fight against Cham in that winner's match. We, however, are going to be going to the loser's match first with MajOr versus Volts. Now, Volts pulled out this crazy Super Saiyan Game 1 versus Cham. Maybe in his downtime, he's been able to collect himself and meditate, or I don't know, get his mojo back for this, because he'll need everything to take on MajOr. You called MajOr for 2nd place in the group. I would say MajOr or Cham for 2nd place in the group. I'm unsure which, but we'll find out who loses for certain with this next series. So that being said, we'll go to another word from our sponsors. This group going incredibly fast so far. Let's hope we get some better games as time goes on so that this isn't over too soon. But again, this will be another TING sponsored ad block section, or not ad block. Don't use ad block, guys. That's not cool. Whatever. But this will be another section for ads, so we'll let them do their talking about devices this time around. We talked about, I think, coverage and all that stuff before, but just so you guys know, like something like 90% of devices made in the last several years are totally compatible with TING. Again, U.S. mobile phone service, bttv.ting.com, claim your credit, all that good jazz. But what's cool is you get to keep your phone number too, which I learned about, again, when using their services in the States. So it's really nice. Also, I mentioned at the start of the stream I had gone walking in the rain. Just one more sellout point. I was totally wearing my TING jacket to keep me dry. TING's awesome, guys. We'll see you in a few.